moving on here, there's a couple things to touch on from the World Economic Forum.
Build back better. Build back better. Build back better. We will build Babylon better. This time, a new world order.
Speaking of all the changes taking place in our world, one of them is governance, or just, in terms of any kind of mass group movement and not just development, but just movement, work, you can call it, productivity. But here's the World Economic Forum website, this weforum.org. They had this headline and story: do companies need bosses, cooperatives, and the social economy explained? All right, let me just read the bullet points just to get to the bottom of it here. Cooperatives employ 280 million people globally. That's 1 in 10 people working today. Studies have shown they are more likely to succeed and have happier workers than other companies. They are part of a wider social economy that values democratic governance and people over profit. And then there's a video that explains some of it. But yeah, so the idea here, imagine not having a hierarchy at work that leads up to the CEO. In 3 million companies around the world, this is the case. They are called cooperatives, or co-ops for short, and have a totally different organizational structure from traditional companies. Co-ops employ 280 million people globally, or 1 in 10 people working today, according to the International Cooperative Alliance. And studies have shown they are more likely to succeed and have happier workers than other companies. They are part of a wider social economy, which includes foundations, associations, and social enterprises and sectors from education to agriculture, all driven by the values of people over profit and democratic governance. So, they make it sound like this is a better way to govern, right? Hey, this is the social economy, which makes sense in the progressive mindset of, virtue signaling. It's your social status that is more important than your productivity or anything else. It's really just about you. It's about your ability to express yourself, right? Without any kind of restraint from some kind of hierarchy that's always there to suppress and all that. Sounds ideal. I can see this type of corporate infrastructure being very appealing to, I know it's appealing to my generation and younger for sure, because they're looking at, Western civilization and they're being told that it's so corrupt and evil. And also, yes, it is very evil and corrupt. So it doesn't really help to say like, well, it's a better way than all these other technocratic or New World Order things. Well, they're being sort of baited into accepting it because the system itself, the way it is now, has not necessarily worked either. And so the social economy, again, making value as a sort of currency within a corporation of kind. And so, yes, let me see. Do I have anything? Oh, I have this highlighted. Launched in response to the COVID-19 crisis by the Schwab Foundation, of course, World Economic Forum, together with Ashoka Catalyst 2030, Echoing Green, GHR Foundation, Skull Foundation, and Unis Social Businesses in April 2020. The Global Alliance will continue to mobilize a trusted community of leaders together with core partners, SAP, Bayer Foundation, Motsepe Foundation, GHR, Porticus, Deloitte, Microsoft, Catalyst 20. Okay. Why, if they're trying to build a cooperative system, right? No CEOs, nobody leading, nobody telling you what to do, a more democratic system. Why are they like, hey, let's mobilize our trusted community leaders to have them partner with core corporations and organizations to establish this new system? It's like, what, aren't you against a top-down infrastructure? Isn't that the whole point of the social economy? I mean, if we're being honest here, if we're talking about social economy, y'all coming in with some heavy bags. Where's the equality or the equity? No, these guys are coming in like, listen to us. We are the leaders. We're the trusted community leaders of the World Economic Forum. We're going to tell you how to create this cooperative system. Okay, but that's not very cooperative. Silence. And there's a thing at the very end. Oh, this was a different. No, okay, yeah. So I'm sorry. So there was another part that I thought was going to be relevant here in this article, but I guess that's in the next one because there's another World Economic Forum article that really, this is a couple months old, but it's just another one of those moments for me personally that just it's a called it type thing.
Called it.
It's a I tried to tell you kind of thing.
I tried to tell you.
I said that the DAO, the decentralized autonomous organizations, are going to become a thing more and more. I don't remember if I said this year, but World Economic Forum, weforum.org. Again, this was back in June. This article was published, but I'm bringing it to you now because even though this article, this first one about cooperatives doesn't say it, they're really talking about DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations. The We Forum here. Are DAOs the business structures of the future? DAOs can replace how we see companies today and have the ability to enable a true digital revolution, unlocking the potential of Web3 technology. And wow, these are humongous icons. What is going on here? Where's the article? There it is. No? What is going on with this? What happened to the article? It disappeared. Hold on, let me see if I can go into the actual article. Here we go. Ooh, this is a different title. This is an adventure. Oh, no, it's the same one. Okay, never mind. Here we go. Decentralized autonomous organizations are a new kind of organizational structure that run as code on blockchains. Ooh, blockchains. Oh, yeah.
Blockchain.
They're owned and run by members who normally hold tokens that provide decision-making rights and or economic rights in the organization. The number of participants in DAOs grew in 2021 from 13,000 to 1.7 million people. Hey, so I'm not crazy when I said that we sort of saw the adoption or the awareness of DAOs accelerate in 2021 and that it will continue to accelerate in 2022 to the effect of the World Economic Forum talking about it. With questions concerning accountability, how the emerging Web3 space should be governed, and how DAOs can be used as a vehicle for entrepreneurship in the digital space, it is worth considering their growing importance. Yeah. Oh, thanks, World Economic Forum, for considering their growing importance. DAOs allow members from anywhere in the world to pool capital and code rules for how they would allocate the capital. Governance is meant to be automated by code and decentralized. In other words, no one can tamper with the rules. For now, most of this remains theoretical as governance smart contract technology remains rudimentary. And then it goes into some numbers here with crypto. DAOs are the natural economic entity of Web3. Yes, everyone is going to have a DAO. I'm telling you, it is going to be disruptive. No one wants to listen to me. Everyone thinks I'm just talking about crypto.
Is this a crypto? Do I look like I know what a crypto is?
They talk about the risks, the different challenges that they face, yada, yada, yada. And they talk about regulatory, problems or just, there's no regulatory clarity on these issues yet. So that's partly why it hasn't been, mass adopted. Somebody's going to, put in place the legal precedent and like, for example, in 2021, Wyoming became the first U.S. state to legally recognize DAOs and grant them the same legal rights as limited liability companies, which is, again, it's pretty progressive, but also I think Wyoming, that's, I forget her name. She's like a pro Bitcoin representative there in Wyoming. So, the crypto. And by the way, I think the 2024 elections, crypto is going to be a theme. I think you're going to have to be pro crypto in some form or fashion to get voted in. By 2028, it'll be normal. It'll just be the way things are. The last part of this article here. Technology has outpaced regulation in this space. Yes, it has. The current approach is to try fit DAOs into a company registration framework that was built for a pen and paper era. The need to build a regulatory framework around this technology is urgent. You hear that, governments? It is urgent. We must put down the railways, the guardrails, so that people don't spin out of control. We must know what everybody is doing with their crypto. This requires a private-public partnership among technologists, regulators, and entrepreneurs. The future of digital entrepreneurship is at stake. And what's really funny about this is that the true opportunity, I'll put it that way, the opportunity that exists if the majority of the population educated themselves on how something like a DAO would operate, guess what becomes completely obsolete? Think tanks. Governments would lose quite a bit of influence. And organizations like World Economic Forum, they would lose any purpose, because if the people come up with how they want to spend their money and how they want to affect the world, and they find like-minded people and they all work towards something together, there ain't nothing the World Economic Forum or the United States government or whoever, there's not much they can do. Now they can say, oh, it violates this law and we put on these laws and you are now all going to jail. They can do that. But notice how it's just forcing governments to become more and more and more totalitarian in order to stay relevant. That's what's happening here. This technology is disruptive. And so there is this fine line between the positive potentials in a small window of time as these changes start to happen. Me personally, I'm looking at it as opportunities to spread the gospel in this new framework, Web3, and just make sure that the gospel is there and present and is able to address any curious minds out there who are in that world and they need a better explanation, a more cosmic or, a fuller explanation about what we are, where we are, and what's happening to humanity, all that kind of stuff. Because otherwise, it's all just going to be some kind of economic engine, and you yourself, as humans become tokenized on the network, we are becoming more and more of the neuron in the node or node in the network, so to speak. So I think it's very important that we keep track of this stuff. And again, I know people don't like me talking about DAOs and crypto and all that, but it's only because as a watchman, I'm telling you, it's been happening. It's been unfolding right before our eyes. And with each iteration, with each cycle, it becomes more intense and the clashes seem to be more intense. And yeah, this is partly why I think as a community, the Canary Cry community, we need to sort of move into Web3 together in a very, in kind of a safe and educational way, so that we're not, because it's dangerous. I mean, I've dabbled in Web3 and NFTs and all that kind of stuff, and I've gotten scammed. Look, I got scammed earlier this year. I mean, it's tough. There's a lot of learning curve here. And so if we move as a community and we move together and we support each other as we move into that realm of Web3, I think that'll be important ministry for everybody. And in connection to this idea of a micronation that we covered, the Molossia, and also the General Milley speech at the West Point graduation that I keep bringing up about how it's, warfare is becoming less about nation states. It's all about regions and groups and smaller battlefields, and everything's breaking down. And some people like to call it the Great Reset. It's part of the Great Reset. Yeah, it's Great Reset stuff, but it's more than that, and there are opportunities in both directions. And when you shake things up, of course, the elite have a bigger sort of forklift to sort of try to scoop everything up all at once, right? They got all the infrastructure to do that, but they can't do everything, and I think that's where we can fill some gaps and really get in there. And we talk about the, Canary Cry idea of a canarium and that kind of thing. But if you look at, the idea of a nation state, right? look at nation, nación is the origin, the etymology, a race of people, large group of people with common ancestry and language. I mean, you can really say, the people of God, we're sort of, we are part of that, birth, rank, descendants, relatives, country, homeland. We share something that transcends this physical world as part of the kingdom of God. And so we are that nation. We're sort of the God nation. And then if you look at the word state, it's circumstances, position in society, temporary attributes of a person or thing, conditions from the Old French estat or stat, and directly from Latin status, a station, position, place, way of standing, figuratively standing, rank, public order, community, organization. So yeah, you can say that Canary Cry itself here, all of you listening and producing, we are just one big sort of nation state in a sense, or a micronation. You can even call it a micronation. And the reorganization of all the stuff, the breaking down of the barriers and the changes and all that kind of thing. What is it leading to? Well, the word of God tells us that there will be a day when there will be 10 kings that arise, and then an 11th king that subdues 3 of them and sort of takes over the system. It's Daniel 7 verse 24. And it talks about the 10 horns as the 10 kings. And also in parallel to that, Revelation 17:12. The 10 horns that you saw are 10 kings who have not yet received royal power, but they are to receive authority as kings for 1 hour together with the beast. This is where they have one mind of the beast. This is where sort of the beast hive mind is established. 10 kings. Who are these 10 kings? I don't know. But if we get to a point where we have a Earth Tao or something, and we have 10 individuals that represent either an actual physical geographical place or some kind of online nation, people all around the world, but they all sort of collectively represent themselves in the metaverse as, hey, we're part of this nation, maybe like Zuck Nation. Imagine everybody wearing Mark Zuckerberg wristbands and headbands. Yeah, you want to get made fun of as being part of the mark of the beast. That should happen. But that's what we're looking for. We're looking for the 10 kings that will sort of take over the world, and then we will start to see the end times unfold with another one coming in, taking out 3 of them, merging, the whole deal. So there you go.